So if you guys remember last year, there was a boycott that was attempted against Hoyoverse, obviously the creators of games like Genshin Impact, for example, of Honkai Star Rail. These kind of games make massive, massive amounts of money. It would blow your mind if you really understood how much money these companies make per month. However, ultimately, there are going to be some issues with this. A lot of people realize that with gotcha games like these games, you're going to have issues with underage gambling, underage buyers of loot boxes and whatnot, which should never happen. Well, apparently, Genshin Impact developer has recently just been banned from selling loot boxes to teens under 16 years old without parental consent and had to pay a $20 million fine to the FTC. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am not kidding. Apparently, this company was selling loot boxes to teenagers under the age of 16 years old, and now they have to pay a $20 million fine in order to settle those FTC charges. That is massive, in my opinion, and it goes to show how predatory these gotcha games are, or games in general, especially games that are on mobile. I talk about this all the time. Wokeness and DEI is not the only problem in the gaming industry. One of the biggest problems by far is predatory monetary practices, and it is rampant all throughout the mobile gaming industry. This is why it makes so much damn money, because it really is predatory. And now we have a story going over just that. So let's get into this article, guys. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says game developer Cognosphere allegedly unfairly marketed loot boxes to children that obscured real costs and misled all players about the odds of obtaining prizes. The maker of the video game Genshin Impact has agreed to pay $20 million and to block children under 16 from making in-game purchases without parental consent to settle Federal Trade Commission allegations that the company violated a children's privacy law and deceived children and other users about the real cost of in-game transactions and odds of obtaining rare prizes. Now, they do this all the time. All the time, literally all the time. These companies, what they do is that they don't actually tell you the chances of you being able to win XYZ, whatever you're actually trying to go for in a loot box. I believe it was in the UK, if I'm not mistaken. I know there's a country that passed a law where these companies have to tell you the actual chances you have to win before you gamble and whatnot. You have to be told what the chances are to win. I don't know if it was the UK. I don't remember, to be honest with you, but I remember reading a story about that last year, and it's something that has to be across the board, because these practices, these, surprise mechanics, as EA likes to call them, they are extremely predatory. They are bad for overall people's psyche, especially young children that are buying all this stuff, usually with their parents' credit card, and it becomes a really big problem. It says Genshin Impact deceived children, teens, and other players into spending hundreds of dollars on prizes they stood little chance of winning, said Samuel Levine, director of the FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection. Companies that deploy these dark pattern tactics will be held accountable if they deceive players, particularly kids and teens, about the true cost of in-game transactions. A complaint filed by the Department of Justice, referral from the commission, alleged that Singapore-based Cognosphere Pte. Ltd. and its California-based subsidiary Cognosphere LLC, which does business in the United States as Hoyoverse, actively marketed Genshin Impact to children and collected personal information from them in violation of the Children's Online Privacy Protection Rule. The complaint further charged that Hoyoverse deceived players about the odds of winning particularly sought-after 5-star loot box prizes and how much it would cost to open loot boxes to win the prizes. It also alleged that the confusing virtual currency system that players had to navigate to open loot boxes and the marketing and promotion tactics used to entice players to open loot boxes were unfair to children and teenagers. Well, I mean, that's obvious, right? I feel like that's extremely obvious at this point. I don't understand why this was not done sooner, right? Because we all know that these mobile games are 100% doing this. I wonder if they're going to take this and try to make it something across the board where all of these studios that are actively trying to target young kids with loot boxes and surprise mechanics and all that stuff, I wonder if they're going to do anything about that. And this is just one example of many video games doing the exact same thing with their own version of loot boxes, or whatever you might call it at the time. They're all doing it. There's a reason why the mobile gaming market is the #1 profitable market in the industry by a long shot. It's not even like barely, right? We're talking $40 billion more than the PC market at the minimum. It's absolutely insane how much money the mobile gaming market brings in. And it does this because the kids are involved and they are 100% spending insane money that they don't have. And then on top of that, too, you got people out there that are just being addicted to these obvious gambling games, because that's really what they are. They're gambling games, and they're really falling for it by these companies that are very good at masking what these games actually are. So this is popular among children and teens. Genshin Impact is free to download, but has generated significant revenue through the sale of in-game virtual currency and other content. Players advance in the game by collecting virtual heroes, forming a team, and using heroes' abilities to complete tasks. 5-star heroes are the most desirable to collect given their powers, and they can only be obtained by opening loot boxes, which players can purchase using virtual currency. The complaint alleges that Genshin Impact's purchasing process obscures the reality that consumers commonly must spend large amounts of real money to obtain 5-star prizes, and that some children have spent hundreds or even thousands of dollars to win them. The complaint alleges that the system is challenging and confusing, particularly for children and teens. Players must exchange real dollars for bundles of virtual currency that have been to be re-exchanged for multiple times to open loot boxes, with exchange rates in unusual denominations. This complicated system, according to the complaint, misleads consumers about the amount of money that players spend on loot boxes on an ongoing basis, and the amount of money that players would likely need to spend in order to obtain certain prizes. So again, guys, these gacha games, this is what they're designed for, okay? The gacha games are designed to take every single penny that they could possibly take from you and nothing more. They want to take every dollar that they can get out of you while they can. And then it makes it very difficult to refund it as well, because at the end of the day, you're buying the currency, and when it comes to the item, well, you can't, they'll refund you the currency, but they're not going to refund you your real money. That's the problem, because they want you to spend the money on the currency, so that when you use the currency to buy the real item, if you ask for a refund, it's going to be very difficult to get that refund. They'll take the item away from you, and then they'll just pay you back in virtual currency. It is really a shitty system that people have let go for way too long. And at this point, Hoyoverse, even as much as I defended them during the whole boycott, because it was amazing to see the wokies lose their mind over the lack of diversity that Hoyoverse has in its games, at the end of the day, I said it before and I'll say it again, what they do for their monetary practices is 100% predatory, and it's shitty. And the fact that they're targeting kids, or at the very least utilizing their system to try to target kids, is messed up. But the ultimate fault, 100%, and I will never take it away from them, the ultimate fault lies with the parents. The parents are the one that are allowing their children to play these games, unwatched. They are not doing proper parenting. And if your kids are playing these games and spending insane money that is most likely yours to begin with, that's a problem. And you probably should do better parenting. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate if you get to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.